Welcome to Almost Home Yoga. If this is your first time, remember that you are your own best teacher, so pay attention to your body and practice safely. Also, remember that it's a journey, so you just have to keep showing up for yourself. Every day is different. And finally, thanks for joining me. I'm glad you're here, and now that you're here, you're almost home. So let's do more yoga. Okay, today before we begin, I want to give you specific instructions about how to place your mat. So put it horizontally so that I'm like your mirror. In fact, I'm going to be your mirror. So when I say put your right foot on your thigh, it's going to look like that. Okay, so just pretend that I'm the mirror in front of you. You might want to have a block and a strap or a tie, maybe a blanket, some props that you can use to do modifications. This video is going to be a full body practice, all about healing. So everything about it should be healing. So check in with your feet. Lift your toes, spread them wide, put them down, and notice how that firmed up your legs. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and just breathe. So if standing with your eyes closed doesn't feel comfortable, just gaze at the floor somewhere in front of you. And simply follow your inhale and your exhale. Inhaling energy deep down into the base of the spine, and exhaling, lightly release up through the crown of the head. Make sure you're standing up tall with the back of the neck long, as if you're being suspended from that place below the ears at the top and back of the jawbone. And I'm going to invite you to suspend your breath at the top of the inhale today. It can be kind of energizing. So inhaling deeply. Hold for a count, and then let it go. And do that again. Inhale deeply. Suspend, and let it go. Do that 3 more times on your own breath. Last one. Inhale, suspend, and let it go. So a great way to quiet the mind. As hard as we try to pay attention simply to the breath, it's often easy to get distracted and notice the birds chirping outside. But it seems like in that moment where we suspend the breath, we get total presence and quiet. So a great way to practice quieting the mind there. So as we begin our practice, we're going to start standing. We're going to get strong and long and stretched and work our way down to the floor. So might be some challenging poses. Just remember to modify as is right for you. Take a few more breaths. Maybe there's already a part of your body that feels tight or weak, is asking for attention. You could set that as your intention today. Just keep sending healing breaths there. So inhaling, take your arms overhead. And exhaling, turn your palms facing out and bring them back down by your side. And again, inhale, arms up. And exhale down. So last time, inhaling, arms up. When you get there, interlace your fingers, turn your palms facing out, and then draw the upper arms back, by or behind the ears if you can. Keep the lower body rooted and the upper body light. Follow your breath. And exhale, let it go. And then interlace your hands behind you. Turn so you can see. Try and get the base of your palms together if you can. Keep the tailbone rooting down, and see if you can just take your knuckles away from your chest a little bit. Feel that heart opening, and follow your breath. One more. And gently release. Wiggle your toes again. Sit down in your heels a little bit, softening the knees. You might start to feel a stretch in your calves, your lower leg. Or do a little cat-cow here. So on your next exhale, hollow out the belly, curling the pelvis under. Let it ripple up through the shoulders and the crown of the head. And then inhaling reverse, lift the tailbone, lengthen the front body, lift the chest. Again, exhaling, hollow out. Inhaling, arch. Exhaling, hollow out. Inhaling, arch. One more. Exhaling, hollow out. And inhaling, arch. Then come on up to standing. We're going to interlace our hands over our head again, this time releasing your index fingers. My feet are still about 2 fist widths apart or hip width apart. Inhale, get really, really tall. And exhale, fold to your right. And inhale through center. And exhale, go to your left. You could let the hips push out to the opposite side. Just keep using your low belly to support you. Squish between 2 pieces of glass. Last side. And then inhale, come on back up. Release your arms and just gently twist from side to side, from the waist. Let your head go with you. Good. And release that. So come to them. I'm going to move my props out of the way. Come to the left side of your mat, right? Inhaling, take your arms up high. Exhaling, soften your knees and gently fold forward. Just go to half forward fold. So lift your hips, crown of the head out long. Exhaling, soften the knees again and come right back up to Tadasana. Turn your palms out, exhaling, soften the knees, go right to half forward fold. Maybe the fingertips come under the knees. And exhaling, soften, arms up in the air. One more time. Exhaling, soften the knees. Inhale, half forward fold. So this time we're going to take the right leg back in high lunge. Knee right over the ankle. All right. Make sure your base is nice and stable. Right foot out to the edge of the mat if you need. And inhale, hands to your thigh. So feeling the extended leg nice and long, the bent leg nice and strong. And then exhaling, float your hands down to the block or the mat and float that back knee down. I'm going to keep my back toes curled under today. All right, just getting a nice foot stretch. And as you inhale, lift your toes up and back, extending that front leg. Take a couple of breaths here. Then inhale, bring your body weight back onto your left foot. We're going to come to the top of a push-up plank. So bring your knees together and then inhale, reach those heels out. Take a breath here. Make sure you haven't dipped your head down. Maybe just gaze at the front of your mat. And then floating your knees down or staying on your toes. If you're going to stay on your toes, rock forward onto your tippy toes. And then everybody squeeze your elbows into the mat. Bringing your hips down last. Good. So on an inhale, And keep your feet pushing into the mat, but take your fingertips towards your heels and just lift your upper body. So do that little pelvic tilt, protecting your low back. Make that space between your shoulders and your ears longer. And exhaling, gently release the hands back under the shoulders, and you're going to reverse your push-up either on the knees or the toes. And come back to your version of plank. Right? Getting long and strong. And then exhale, lift your hips up and back to down dog. So this is a great inversion if you're able to do it. It can be very healing. Go ahead and walk your dog, bending one knee and then the other. And then come back to stillness. Check in with your feet, root your heels down. Firm up those inner thighs from the outside of the knee, up through the inside of the thigh, all the way to the outer hip. Take another breath. So on your next inhale, you're going to lift your left leg up in the air. Get really, really long here. Find your edge, engaging the whole body. And then pull that left knee toward the chest. And we're coming back to high lunge, so do that however you need to, getting the knee right over the ankle again. And then bring your hands to your thigh. And then sweep your arms up in the air, getting an even greater arch in the front body. Exhaling, hands to the mat. Bring the back leg to meet the front. Inhaling all the way to that half forward fold. Soften the knees. Take your fingertips up in the air and exhale your hands to your heart. So come to the other side of your mat. We'll do the same thing on the other side, mostly. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, soften the knees. This time go all the way over to ragdoll. Then soften the knees and inhale back up to Tadasana. And again, exhaling, soften the knees. Fold all the way forward to ragdoll if it's safe for you. Softening the knees, inhaling. Come on, back up to standing. Last time, exhaling, soften the knees. Inhale the hips up into ragdoll. Take a breath here. Nice, deep, healing exhale, and then take your right leg back in high lunge. Oh, it's your left leg. It's your left leg. Just let me be your mirror. Hands to the thigh. Just feeling that length. Right. Just noticing the other side of the body. Long and strong. And then exhaling, hands to the mat. So your version of a push-up, right? Top of a plank. Take a breath here. Then either float your knees down or rock your toes and exhale, chaturanga. Push those tops of the feet into the mat. Inhaling, this time we're going to reach our fingertips toward our heels and lift your heels as well if you can. Make like a mermaid tail. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Can you rotate your thighs inward here as well? Super challenging for me. And exhaling, relax the legs. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Curl your toes under. And your version of a push-up. Come to plank. And exhale, down dog. And go ahead and walk your dog again. Come back to stillness.
Engage all those muscles. It's great healing inversion. Then lift your right leg way up in the air. Find your edge in this pose. Full extension. And then on your next exhale, pull your right knee toward your chest so that you can get to high lunge again. Find that stability. Bring your hands to your thigh. All right, good job. And then sweep your arms up, getting more of that arch in the body. Nice. All the way from that back heel up through the fingertips and the crown of the head. And then pull the low belly in. We're going to come all the way to ragdoll this time. So inhaling, bring that back foot to meet the front. Exhaling, hang. Let's hold elbow to elbow here. Just gently swing around the toes. Little arches. Feeling those hamstrings release. I think I forgot to stretch the hamstring that time. It's all good. Exhaling, inhale, halfway up. Fold like a ragdoll again, softening the knees. Reverse your dive. Inhaling, taking your fingertips up. And exhale your hands to your heart. So our first one-legged balance, tree pose. Start in Tadasana. And then take your right foot and either put it on your calf or your thigh. No pressure on the knee. Bring your hands to your heart center. So we're going to try a little motion in our one-legged balance. Inhale, take your arms out to the side, palms facing forward. And then exhale, squeeze your elbows toward your rib cage. Inhale, get light and long, straighten your elbows. Use your drishti, your focal point. Exhale, squeeze the elbows in. Once again, inhaling out, get light. And exhaling, squeezing in. And come back to Tadasana. Go ahead and walk it out. And we'll go to the other side. So check in with your body, maybe giving that one spot a little extra love, your intention. And take your arms, palms facing forward. Inhale, get long and light. Exhale, really engage those back muscles. Great for our posture. Inhaling, get light. Exhale, pulling in. Inhale, get light. And exhale, pulling in. And then come right back to Tadasana. We're going to do some chair pose with a twist. So if you prefer to keep your feet hip width apart, if that's safer for your low back, do that. Or you could bring your big toes together. So wiggle your toes, sit down on your heels. We're going to twist to the right. So pull your low belly in. Take your elbow or your forearm, whatever will go, to the outside of the right thigh. Make one long line with your forearms, pushing your palms together. Just gaze at your thumbs. Keep the back of the neck long. So if you wanted to challenge yourself, you could shift your weight, look down at the floor and shift your weight into your right leg. And gently lift your left off the floor, let it hover. Then come back to chair pose. Deepen the twist, one more breath. Getting really strong in those quads. Exhaling, release your twist. We're going right to the other side. So find that twist. Push your palms together, separate the elbows, take a few breaths. Then if you want to challenge yourself, gaze down at the floor. Use your abdominal muscles and let your right foot hover. Good. Plant that foot again. Deepen the twist. One more breath. Inhale, get long. Exhaling, gently release. Take your fingertips to your shins or ankles or the ground. And inhale, lift your hips up. Nice, easy forward fold. Maybe nod your head yes. Shake your head no. So from here, step into a big, wide straddle. Right, I've got my fingertips on the ground. You could grab hold of a block if it's helpful. As you exhale, soften your knees and just go from side to side, straightening one leg and then the other, getting into those inner thighs and the hips. Right. Bend into that left hip. And then come back to center. Inhaling, get long. As you exhale, take your hands underneath you, fingertips facing backwards, and really pull. Use your palms to pull your body closer to your thighs. Engage your quads. That'll help release the hamstrings. One more deep exhale. And then release the hands. Soften the knees. Walk your heels in a little bit. If it's helpful, bring your hands to your thigh. Long spine to come on up safely. And we're going to go right to some warrior two. So turn your right toes out. Find that heel to arch alignment. And as you exhale, take the knee right over the middle toes. Right away, let's go ahead and inhale. Interlace your hands behind you. Really just lifting up. So my hips are still facing the front. As you exhale, we're going to fold forward into peaceful warrior. So my left shoulder is going toward, right shoulder is going toward the right knee. And as you inhale, lift your knuckles to the sky. Take a couple breaths here. And then bring your hands back to your hips. Releasing, coming back up to warrior two and extend your arms out. Go a little deeper if you can. See if you can get that front thigh parallel to the ground. Might have to separate your feet a little bit more. Beautiful. We pull those shoulders right back over the hips. And then windmill around to your right leg. Lift those left toes. Exhaling, floating the knees down, back knee down. And we're going to walk that front foot out to the edge of the mat for that for that lizard stretch, right? So my right foot toes are pointed out slightly. Dropping my upper body down in between, right along the midline. So if you can get your elbows to a block, you could rest your elbows on a block. Do a little bit of wiggling around if it feels good. Just be mindful of your knee, and keeping the spine long. You could let the arch of your foot peel off the mat. That helps you go a little deeper. Come back to your breath. Being fully present. It's one of the most healing parts of this yoga practice. And as you release, bring your right foot back in line with the hip. Curl the back toe under. We're going to scoot our back front, left leg to meet the right. Back in a little chair pose. So I'm putting my big toes back together again, but you could keep your feet hip width apart. Right? Just kind of evening out. Maybe you sweep your fingertips up. And then inhaling, come on back to Tadasana and exhale your hands to your heart. Take a breath. So feeling a little bit stretchier on that right side. Let's come back to a straddle so that we can turn the left toes out. All right, for warrior two. Soften into that knee. So taking your time. All right. So this time right away we're going to inhale our arms out to the side. And exhale, pull your elbows in toward your ribs. Everything's facing forward. Inhale, out to the side. Ribs, hips, shoulders. Exhale, pull them in. Inhale, out to the side. And exhale, pull them in. And then inhale, get long and light. See if you can go a little deeper. And interlace your hands behind you. Pull that low belly in. And fold your left elbow toward your left knee in that peaceful warrior. Head dips if you can and take your knuckles to the sky. Good. Pull the low belly and use your core muscles to bring you back up. Right. Getting long and light, feeling that release. Maybe you go a little deeper. Push into the outer edge of your back foot. It'll help protect the knee. And then we're going to windmill ourselves around to the mat. All right. Take a breath here. And then we're going to get ready to set up for lizard pose on this side. So I'm floating my back knee down. And I'm taking my left toes out to the edge of the mat, pointed diagonally out a little bit. I'm going to start to drop in, body down the midline. You can let that front arch curl up if it's helpful. Remember, this all should feel healing. One more deep exhale. See if you can let go. Inhaling. Come on back up. Walk that left foot back in line with your hips. Curl the back toes under. We're going to come to chair pose on this side. So again, you can work with your feet 2 fist widths apart or big toes together. Drop your hips. Hands to the thighs at first. Pull that low belly in, keep the sacrum wide, and then sweep your fingertips up. And come on to Tadasana. Exhaling your hands to your heart. Maybe close your eyes here and take a breath. Good. We're going to do a couple of sun salutations. So inhaling, stay where you are, take your arms to the sky. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, take that right leg back in high lunge. And then you're going to take the left leg back to meet it, top of a push-up plank. Exhaling, chaturanga, your version. Then float the knees down if you're still on your toes. We're going to inhale into a modified up dog. So you're going to stay on your knees. See if you can really lengthen your upper spine and straighten your arms. Might feel good to rock the hips from side to side here a little bit. Lift, lift, lift. Inhale. And then curl your toes under and exhale right to down dog. Take your time. Walk it out. And then come on to stillness. So this time you're going to lift your right leg in the air. Squeeze the knee toward the chest. Plant the foot right in high lunge, right? So we're going to do one of my favorite little combinations of movement here. We're going to stand in standing split. So you might want to grab hold of a block if it's helpful, right? You're going to bring all your body weight on that front foot and lift your back toes toward the ceiling. Again, shouldn't be any pain anywhere. Try and keep the upper body soft and loose. One thing you could do is grab hold of your calf with one hand and use it to pull your body toward your leg. Just find your full extension in this pose. And then decide if this is right for you. Just be really mindful in the transition. Bend that top knee and tuck it right behind your right knee. So your right knee is going to start to bend. Your left foot acts as like a lever. You're going to sit down into a seated twist. So again, being mindful of your knees, right? So my right leg's on top. My left leg's on the bottom. Scoot over a little bit, right? We're going to go right into a deep seated twist. So get really, really tall. And exhale. Twist toward that right leg. Maybe taking your gaze over your shoulder. So I love the combination of this movement of the length and the standing split, and the compactness and the compression in the seated twist. These are the things I find healing in yoga. One more breath. And then we're going to reverse. So remember what you did, right? Use your bottom foot as a little bit of a lever. Be mindful of your knees. You're going to stand on that right leg, uncurl back into standing split. Exhaling, we're coming back to chair pose. So big toes together. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Come on to Tadasana, and exhale your hands to your heart. Beautiful. We're going to go to the other end of our mat. So we can do that same thing on the other side. So start with your big toes together if you want, or two fist widths apart. Inhaling, arms up. Pull the low belly in, exhaling, dive forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, take that left leg back in high lunge. And then come to the top of your push-up plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Go ahead and float those knees down. Again, we're going to do modified up dog. If it's right for you, you could do a cobra or a locust or something else, or a full up dog, but my knees are on the mat and my arms are straight. Couple breaths here. Then when you're ready, curl your toes under, pull your low belly in, taking your time to transition to our nice healing inversion. Down dog. Then you're going to lift your left leg in the air. Exhale, pull the knee toward the chest. So you get in high lunge. And we're going to go to standing split on the other side. So grab your block if you need. Start to load all that body weight on the front foot. Inhaling, lift your opposite toes toward the ceiling. So this side might feel completely different. Maybe you want to use one hand on the calf. Let the upper body be soft. Find your full extension. Then take that right knee and tuck it behind the left as you start to sit into your left heel. Use that right foot as a lever to support you. And bring your hips down to the mat. Beautiful. Inhale, get really, really tall. And exhale. Take that nice compact seated twist. Beautiful. Exhaling, gently release. You know where we're going, right? Right back to that standing split. Put your body weight on your left leg. Use your right foot as a lever. Shouldn't be any pain anywhere. Inhale, find that extension and standing split again. And then exhaling, coming to chair pose. Sit into your heels. Lengthen your upper body. And come back to Tadasana. Exhaling your hands to your heart. We'll stay right here and move to dancer pose. So grabbing a hold of a strap if it's helpful, if you can't get hold of your foot, using the wall if it's helpful, right? We're going to take the left arm out like you're holding a cocktail tray. Keep the palm facing away and see if you can reach for your left foot on the inside of the arch so your shoulder stays nice and open. So again, using your drishti, your focal point. Maybe you take the opposite arm in the air. My knees are close together. And then you can start to push your foot into your hand. Opening the chest. Opening the thigh. Soften the throat. Maybe you tilt forward. And then come on back up, safely and with control. Bring those knees back together. And gently release Tadasana. Take a breath. Okay, so before we go to the other side, we're going to do what I think is a really healing, cleansing breath and movement, right? So you're going to inhale, get really, really long. Take your arms to the sky, and on exhale, you're going to make the ha sound and fold into a forward fold with nice soft knees. Take your arms up behind you. Just keep doing that. Inhale, get long. Exhale. Make it a little faster. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. One more. Inhaling. Exhaling. Come on back up and bring your hands to your heart center. Just releasing any stress you might have been creating in your body, those challenging poses. We'll go to dancer pose on the other side. So again, if any of these practices, cause any kind of anxiety or dizziness, just stand in Tadasana and breathe. So now we're taking our right arm out like we're holding the cocktail tray. You're going to reach for your right foot. Bring the knees back together. Remember, you're getting all the benefit wherever you are. Taking the other arm in the air. Then starting to push the foot into the hand. Looks like I'm going to have a date with the snake plant here if you want to go forward. Take a few breaths. Find somewhere to open. Soften the jaw. And then try and come back with control. Right back to Tadasana. We're going to do 5 more of those swinging, healing ha's, right? If it's not for you, just stand in Tadasana and maybe do that suspended breath on the inhale. So here we go. Inhaling. Exhale. 4 more. Feel your feet rooted. Last one. And come back to Tadasana. Nice. Inhaling, sweep your arms up. Soften the knees and exhale, dive forward. Maybe notice if this forward fold feels different than your first one. Inhale, halfway up to flat back. And exhaling, take your right leg back, high lunge, left leg goes to meet it. Float the knees down. And for a few breaths, just take a child's pose. Maybe rock a little bit from side to side. So this is an awesome healing practice. If you have a thick hardback book or a yoga block, put it right there above your eyebrows. And then you can just roll from side to side on it. Just massaging your forehead so it's great for your sinuses. Great stress reliever, just gently rolling the eyebrows on your block. Good, and then release that. Come back to whatever version of child's pose feels right for you. So maybe it's your forehead on the ground and your hands down by your heels. Maybe your arms are stretched forward. Just feel the spine nice and long. And reach your arms forward if you haven't already. Inhaling, pull your low belly in, bringing your shoulders back over your wrists. We're going to transition to a little bit of core work. So coming onto your hips. We're going to go from boat pose to canoe pose 5 times. So do whatever's right for your body, right? You can always do it with your hands as support. Inhaling, shift on your hips, lift your shins. All right, take a breath here. On your inhale, you're going to lower your heels and your shoulders. And then exhale, back up to boat pose. Inhale again. Exhale. Inhale, get long. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale, get long. Exhale. Try not to swing. Inhale and get long. And exhale. Lift, lift, lift. And release. Coming into bound angle Baddha Konasana. We're going to finish up our practice here and then with a easy supported bridge psoas stretch. So rock from side to side. Get your hips nice and open. And exhaling. Maybe you fold forward. Your choice. Remember, this is all about you and your healing. So do any moving that would feel good, or stay still. Three more deep breaths. Send some love. Come back to your intention. And then inhaling, gently release. Reaching the crown of the head out long to come on up. So we're going to slowly transition on to our back. Right. Grab hold of your block or your small stack of books. Remember, your block has 3 settings. We're going to do supported bridge pose. So inhaling, lift your hips. I'm going to do the medium setting. Tucking that right under my sacrum, so it's not under the lumbar spine, it's really under that big wide sacroiliac joint. And just settle in. So this nice easy inversion, if it's not for you, just find a place where you can be still for a few breaths. Again, you could always try the lower setting. So maybe as we finish up our practice, you want to start to suspend the breath just for that 1 count on the exhale. Will have a more calming effect. So if you want to get deeper into that psoas stretch, you could maybe extend one leg. Maybe try extending your right leg out. Just noticing the front side of the body. Continue to work with the breath, or just breathe normally. If you stretched out one leg, bring it back, switch and stretch out the other. If you want to stretch out both legs together, you could give that a try. Remember, just no pain in the low back. Adjust your setting, or keep your knees bent. Whatever will make this a healing finish for you. And then when you're ready, gently bend your knees if they were straight. With as little motion as possible, lift your hips and get your prop out of the way. And when you get your hips down to the mat, stay there. Try not to move for 3 breaths. Again, maybe suspending at the bottom of the exhale or not. Then when you're ready, decide how you'd like to be still in Shavasana for a few breaths. Maybe you stay right where you are. Maybe you stretch your legs out all the way in front of you, let the toes flap open. Maybe you like that Baddha Konasana pose. It's a great healing pose with the soles of the feet together and the knees flopping open. We're not going to be here too long. So find your Shavasana, your corpse pose. Try not to fidget. You get where you are, tuck your shoulder blades together. Recall that intention and then let it go. And simply follow your breath until you can let that go too. Remember that if thoughts come, just let them float by like clouds. No judgment. Use your breath to bring you back. So before you begin moving, wherever you are, do a little body scan. Start with the crown of the head. Feel your forehead soften. The eyes just melting back away from the eyelids. Release the jaw. Take the tongue off the roof of your mouth if it's there. the back of the neck long, the collarbones wide, the arms heavy, the ribs and the belly simply rising and falling with your inhale and your exhale. Wherever your legs are, whatever position, feel like the muscles are melting off of the bones like warm butter. And just wiggle your toes. And start to wiggle your fingers. And then take 3 or 4 more breaths to get moving again so that you can eventually draw your knees in and roll to your right side, cradling your head in your arm if that's okay with you. So in these last few minutes of stillness, remember that healing is an art. It takes time, it takes practice, and it takes love. When you're ready, maybe keeping your eyes closed, gently pushing yourself up to seated. Sitting really tall. Just taking in for a couple more moments the healing power of moving and breathing, connecting your mind, body, and spirit. Then when you're ready, bring your hands together at your heart. Exhaling, bow your head to your own heart. Always giving yourself that mental pat on the back for showing up. Healing yourself so that you can help others be healed and whole. The spirit in me honors the spirit in you. Namaste.